Okay. Uh, the art of drumming, reading text in 4/4. Today we're going to demonstrate page 31. Now, like I've said in past videos, um, if you notice, there are no accents or no dynamic markings. So both notes, I mean, all the notes should sound the same, whether they're coming from the right hand or the left hand. So it's recommended that you work with this with alternating strokes. And I use full strokes to do it very slow, depending on the tempo. Now I'm going to demonstrate this measure by measure and try to explain as best as I can so that would help you understand reading better. I have some information that I will present to you at the end of the video. So I'm going to try to play measure by measure very slow and explain what is going on. So we're on page 31, the reading text in 4/4, and I'll do measure by measure again. Here we go. I'm counting each downbeat, number one, as is. For example, if I see quarter notes, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4. If I have a combination of quarter notes and eighth notes, like for example, I'll play one quarter note and two eighth notes, it would be 1, 2, and. Instead of counting 1 E and a 2 E and a. You could do it that way also, but what's going to happen is there's going to be a couple different feels being projected inside of the reading, like syncopated triplets, quarter note triplets. So you should count the downbeat as is. All right, line 1. And I might do this in measure increments because a few of the lines, because now we have a tie. And for those who do not understand what a tie is or what it does, when one note is tied to another note, you do not play the note it's tied to. So let me do measure number 1 and measure number 2, and I'll do it twice. I'll do it a little slowly rather, and then I'll do it again a little faster. And it's essential that you count. All right, and there's no foot pattern, but I would recommend playing the bass drum on 4 and like feathering it, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Not like 1, 2. We're not playing any kind of, we're not performing with the band or trying to get a bass drum pattern going on. It's just the bottom is the root of the time. Okay, measure number 1 and measure number 2, slow. And I'm counting in quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now notice I did not play 1, the count 1 on the second measure because the note is tied over. Now I'll play it again a little faster. Line 1, measure number 1 and 2. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Third measure. Nice and slow. A tie again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Line 1, measure number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that brings us to line number 2. Measure number 1. Nice and slow. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Notice I did not play the 4. The note was tied to the count of 4. Again, line number 2, measure number 2. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Again, 1 and 2, 3, 4. Line number 2, measure number 3. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Now the note, the and was tied over to 2, so I did not play 2. I'll do line 2, measure number 3 again. 1 and 2, 3, 4. Okay. Line number 2, measure number 4. Like I said, I'll play it twice. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and. Line number 2, measure number 4, second time. 1 and 2, 3, 4, and. Line 3, measure number 1, tied over to the and of 1 and the and of 4. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Line 3, measure number 2. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, the and of 4 is tied over to the next measure on the count of 1, so we don't play the 1. Now we're on line 3, measure number 3. And I'm going to play the bass drum whether there's a tie or not, because that is, like I said, the root of the pulse. Nice and easy. 1, okay? Line 3, measure number 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Again, I made a mistake. Line 3, measure number 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Line number 3, measure number 4. Again, it's tied over to the 1, so we're not playing that. So you have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. All right, line number 4, measure number 1. 2 quarter notes tied over, 1 quarter note tied over to the half note. We're not playing the half note. This could be written a little bit different, but I'm just presenting it this way because you'll see this occasionally written this way. It could have been a dotted half note on the count of 2 as opposed to a tie. So we have line 4, measure number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, measure line 4, measure number 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Notice I did not play the and of 3 because it's tied, the note is tied to that note. Line 4, measure number 3. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 E and the. Now the 1 is tied over to the E, so you don't play the E. I'll do it again. Line 4, measure number 3. 1 and 2 and 3, 4 E and the. Line 4, measure number 4. Now we have a combination of dotted notes and ties. In our eighth note, dotted eighth note rest. That's equal to 3/16. Line 4, measure number 4. 1 E and 2 E and 3, 4. It was tied over to 4. I didn't play it. Now we come into a different, not a different thing, the same concept. You don't play the note that it's tied to. But we have a different kind of feel going on here with the eighth note triplet. And line 5 is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Line 5, measure number 1 again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, line 5, measure number 2. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Line 5, measure number 3. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 E and. Again, line 5, measure number 3. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 E and. Line 5, measure number 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. Okay, now be careful with line 6 because I moved the ties over somewhat. So pay attention closely to the tie. Line 6, all right, I'm going to count that total measure, the whole measure rather, in eighth note triplets. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Line 6 again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Line 6, measure number 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Line 6, measure number 2. Quarter note and quarter note triplets. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Again, line 6, measure number 3. 1 and 2 and 3 Line 6, measure number 4. 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 and. All right, line 7, measure number 1. 1 E and 2 E and then 3 4 Line 7, I'll make that one complete now. 1 E and 2 E and 3 4 Line 7, measure number 2, it's tied to that note, you don't play 1. So I'm going to play the bass drum as the pulse. 1 and 2 and 3. 4 E and Line 7, measure number 3. 1 E and 2. 3, 4 E and Okay, measure number 7. Line 7 rather. Measure number 4. 1 E and 2 and then you have a dotted eighth note. No, it's not a dotted. It's a displacement there, and it gets a little confusing. So you need to pay attention. Like I did not pay attention. I apologize. Line 7, measure number 4. 1 E and 2 E. It should be 2 E and 3 E and 4 and. Line 8, measure number 1 to tie again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Line 8, measure number 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Line 8, measure number 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, I'll do it again. Line 8, measure number 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Line 8, measure number 4. 1 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4. Okay, that completes page 31, and I would really appreciate if I can get some feedback as to maybe I should break it down a little bit better, a little bit slower, play the whole page complete, or whatever you would like to ask. I would like to have some feedback if possible. I'm going to give you my contact information underneath the video, my email, my Skype contact, my website, which offers free, live online lessons, and plus my Facebook contact. Now, if anyone decides or feels inclined to purchase any of the books, you go to my website and go under Matt's Products, and you'll see the books. I have 4 publications. If you go to the bottom of the page, you'll see a code. So if you decide that you would like to purchase one or 2 or 3 or whatever many books you'd like, if you enter the code, you will receive a 20% discount. Now, if you buy 2 or more books, I will offer you this in addition to the 20% discount. You will get either your choice, a free one-on-one Skype lesson, or a 1-month free pass to my live online lesson site. So, again, if it's possible, or you feel so inclined to send me feedback, whether it's positive or negative, it doesn't really matter. I will take it in stride and try to give you a quality kind of instructional video with some of your recommendations. So with that being said, that was page 31, The Art of Drumming, Volume 1, Reading Text in 4/4, and we shall continue until we complete the book. Thank you very much.